Well. Shalom, shalom. Welcome to another Turtle Side Chat. What a blessing it is to be with you. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Today is Yom Sheni. We've been really busy this weekend. Did quite a bit of work setting up the new YouTube feeds we're going to have. I'm enjoying my morning coffee. I got up early to be with you this morning. My students, I'm Sholiach Moshe Yosef Kanyuchovsky. I'm coming to you live on Yom Sheni, Roman Monday, or else the 9th day of November. We were talking last time we got together. We were talking about the very dangerous, very deceptive, very misleading teaching that's circling around the world, mostly through Hebraic roots and Messianic teachings. And in one form or another, some sound a little different, some sound a little more right on or right off, but in one form or another, it tries to make the point that the Brit Chadashah, the renewed covenant, will not be fully in effect, or is not in effect, or is not advantageous or effectacious until Yeshua returns. Now, we learned last time in the message in the turtle chat that we gave, is the new covenant come, or has the new covenant, the Brit Chadashah, come? We learned that it had, of course, come because Yeshua had come. But we also learned that what we are waiting for is when Yeshua takes control of his government on earth and we rise from the dead. When he takes control of his government on earth and he rises from the dead. Well, it's too early for that. I'm sorry. When he takes control of his government because he rose from the dead. Maybe I shouldn't be doing these teachings at 6 a.m. Maybe I should wait a little bit, huh? But anyway, so his reward is with him. So what are we waiting for at his second coming? His reward. It is correct to say that his reward is with him and that his reward does not come until he comes and his government is established on earth as it is in heaven. But today I want to show you that this teaching that the renewed covenant has not yet come or fully come or actually come is really from the pit of hell. It is designed to steal your joy, steal your faith, steal your hope. When we learned last time in the book of Hebrews that the Brit Chadashah was given, the renewed covenant was given as Torah was given. It was given as Torah, in essence, the same thing as Torah. So unlike Rabbinic Judaism, as a Bible believer, my definition of Torah is Bereshit to Gilyana, Genesis to Revelation. It's not just limited to the 5 books of Revelation, and one part doesn't contradict the other part. Today I want to see things, number one, through the eyes of the witness, Sholiach Matityahu, Matthew, and then again touch a little bit about Sholiach Shaul in Ivrim, and then go into the Hebrew and Isaiah, which is really fascinating. Over and over again, you're going to get the point, and over again, you're going to get the understanding that when the Messiah comes, the Mashiach means the anointed one, the Holy One of Israel. When he comes, the covenant comes. Whether it's fully enacted in terms of governmental administration, governmental application on earth as it is in heaven, the reward of that, our resurrection from the dead, and our entry and functioning as citizens of the earthly kingdom. That all is yet future. But without the covenant having come, there is no future. Let me say that again. Without the covenant having come, there is no future. You can't talk about a future you're going to inherit if the down payment, the King Jimmy calls it the earnest, the down payment has not been manifest, you're not going to get the house. It's the same in life. If you don't put down a down payment, unless you're a veteran and you have 100% financing, but that's rare. And our veterans deserve that. Oh, by the way, happy Veterans Day. I believe today is Veterans Day, and I want to praise Yahuwah for you and praise Yahuwah for putting it in your heart to serve your country and to follow orders, whether you agreed with those orders or not. As a soldier, you fought for the country, you served the country. And for all of our friends who are veterans out there, and I know there are many that are part of our ministry, I know many that are associated with our ministry, we praise Yahuwah for you and your service and your sacrifice for this country, so that we may be free to do these things and to teach and minister the Besorah without being put in jail, as is still the case in many countries, especially in Islamic countries. So thank you so much for your service. I know my wife is a veteran. I know several people in our ministry is a veteran, are veterans. So we give you the highest honor that is due to you. Thank you again. And on this we remember your service. We pause and we remember your service on this Veterans Day. So if we go with me to Matthew chapter 26, Matthew 26, he sits at the Passover one day before the rabbinical Passover, because if we follow the Torah calendar, we know that the actual Passover, not a Lord's Supper, not a memorial supper, but the actual Passover, according to the solar calendar and the 4 seasons, was actually the day before the rabbinical. So since they helped conspire to get rid of him with the Romans, he had the Passover with the disciples on the correct day, but he hung the next day on the 14th of the rabbinical lunar calendar when the lambs were being slaughtered, so they would be able to connect the dots. They would be able to see that they were conspiring to murder him with the Romans. They didn't murder him, but they conspired, and thus still not break the Torah, because he couldn't have a Lord's Supper or crackers. He wasn't polywana cracker. He was the Passover lamb. So the only way that would happen is in the year 30 of the Common Era. The lunar calendar and the correct solar calendar, the Torah Enochian calendar, so-called, were one day apart. Matthew 26:27. He took the cup and gave hodou. He took his cup and gave thanks, and gave it to the Talmidim, saying, "Drink all of it, for this is my dam, my blood, of the Brit Chadashah that is shed for many for the remission of sin." So in other words, the Brit Chadashah was directly correlated and tied in to the blood. When you see the blood, I will redeem you. When you see the blood, I will pass over you. When you see the blood, you will be forgiven. When you see the blood, your sins will be remitted. All these things are connected to the blood. He says, this is the blood of the renewed covenant, in Hebrew, Brit Chadashah, that is shed for many for the remission of sins. So he's saying to you in verse 29 of Matthew 26, I won't drink of the fruit of the vine again until I drink it with you in my Abba's Malchut, in my Father's kingdom. Matthew 26 and verse 29. So here he says again, he says, now the next time we're going to have Pesach together is in the kingdom, but there's not going to be any kingdom unless there's first blood, atonement. See? You do need the blood atonement. No matter what religion tells you or the rabbis tell you, you do need it or you're not getting in. You better not risk what someone else says. You better put your hope on what the Holy One of Israel, the Kadosh One of Israel, says. So we see here that whenever the blood is shed, the Brit Chadashah will be established. I'll say that again. Whenever the blood is shed, we see the direct correlation, the direct tie-in between the blood of the covenant, because to make a covenant in Hebrew literally means, the Hebrew word for cutting is the Hebrew word yekaret, where we get the Hebrew word shochet. In Hebrew, a shochet, or like they say with an Ashkenazic accent, a shoches is someone who cuts an animal and ritually slaughters it so that it's kosher. So we see that Yeshua cut a covenant. Without the cutting of a covenant, without the shedding of blood, There is no such thing as a biblical covenant. And that starts all the way back to Brit Milah, which is the circumcision of the flesh on the 8th day for an Israelite male. So keep that in mind. So everybody who says that the new covenant will not come or hasn't come or is yet future is misleading you, because the covenant is initiated, in this case unilaterally, because Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. It was unilateral. Okay? And all we have to do is accept him individually as we ratify the covenant individually, and every one of his brides ratifies it, so that Yeshua HaMashiach, our only husband, our only bridegroom, has a one flesh covenant with each of his virgin brides. And we see that in Matthew 25. You're a virgin bride because of the blood. I'm a virgin bride because of the blood. She's a virgin bride because of the blood. Regardless of our stained past, we are now virgins in Yeshua. We are virgins in the Emunah, and thus he is married to all of us at the same time. Okay, so what I want to do now is quickly go to Ivrim, and hopefully we can get there pretty quick. In Ivrim, I want to choose one verse, Hebrews chapter 9. Let's see if we could find it quickly without taking a lot of time. Hebrews, there we go, we're in Hebrews, because we covered a little bit in Hebrews last week, but I want to do it again today. 9:15. So we have the witness of Matidyahu, who sat with Yeshua at Passover. Now we have the witness of the writer of the book of Hebrews, which many believe was Shaliach Shaul. Others say it was Barnabas. And if it was Barnabas, he was a Jewish believer, a Levite, a Kohen, and he was quite an important figure in the early assembly. Hebrews 9:15. For by this cause, notice, what cause? The cause of his death, because of his death, or his death leading to the cause of the new covenant. For this cause, meaning to make an atonement, to make a reconciliation. For this cause, he is the mediator of the Brit Hadashah by means, Hebrews Ivrim 9:15. By means of his death. Let's stop there. He is the mediator of the Brit Hadashah, not by means of his second coming, which is his reward, when he assumes earthly governmental authority. See? So it says in Ivrim 9:15, by means of his death, he became the mediator, or he established the Brit Hadashah. It can't be any clearer. This confirms Matthew 26. By means of his blood, he established the Brit Hadashah. Ivrim 9:15, by means of his death, he established and began to mediate the Brit Hadashah between Yahweh and all men and women who receive him as our high priest, as our Kohen HaGadol. He began to mediate that which his blood established and brought in. I'll say that again. He began to mediate and establish that which his blood and death brought in. Notice? By means of his death, he did establish the Brit Hadashah. It doesn't matter what Facebook says, Twitter, all these Johnny-come-latelys who try to steal your joy, steal your hope, put fear, put doubt, put unbelief in your mind and in your ears, etc., etc. He says, so that he would redeem or bring Geulah, the Geulah of sins, the redemption from sins that were done under the first Brit. So those who are called, you and I, as believers who trust him and love him and trust him and obey. Love him, trust him, and obey. It's not just enough to love him and trust him and obey. Yochanan 14:15. If you love me, you will keep my commandments, not my suggestions, but my commandments. See? So he died as the atonement. He began to mediate the renewed covenant for us and for all those who would accept him as he begins his betrothal to all of us, so that he has a one flesh covenant with all of us. Okay, it's not one Yah and one person. It's one Yah and many people, so that doesn't violate the principle of one flesh, like those who teach against polygyny. Well, one man, one woman, it violates the principle. It doesn't violate the because Yeshua has a one flesh covenant with millions, hundreds of millions, maybe billions through the centuries. Okay, so Yahweh does not violate his own word, and neither do those who practice that lifestyle, although it should not be practiced in the flesh. It should be practiced according to the instructions of the Ruach. So we have the witness of Matthew. We have the witness of Ivrim. Now, as I want to do in these Turtle Side chats, and I'm so glad you're my students because I missed getting together with you over the weekend. We were busy, as I said, setting up our whole shift in TV ministry to reach more people. For us, it's not enough to reach 30, 40, 50. We want to be able to reach hundreds of the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Because we read in Matthew 18 on Shabbat that there's more joy among the Melachim, the angels, and Yahuwah himself, among one lost sheep of the house of Israel from Judah or Ephraim that has gone into paganism or to religion that has a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, and to bring them back to the commonwealth of Israel. The time is short and the days are evil, and so we're shifting our video stream so that all of it is on YouTube, because that is more and more and more and more the wave of the future. It's not just a matter of money or shekels. It's a matter of everybody has access to YouTube, even if people have